Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Karen Newman. This is the Saturday Human Colony Hucolo Webinar. It is Saturday, the 17th of April. I knew it all day. I'm thinking November. It's the 17th of April, 2021, and I'd like to welcome everyone that we have here. We have a nice full room, and we also have a very special guest. And I've got to mute myself. It is Saturday. 1 second. Okay, thank you. There's no way to coordinate turning off the YouTube when it comes up and keep talking and be able to hear. So it's quite a conundrum that I have sometimes every week. But anyway, so we have our very special guest. Jim is normally on this week, but Jim had some he had a loss of a very dear friend, so he's taking this week off. And very nicely and very kindly, Will Mitchell stepped in to channel for us. Will is a founding member of Human Colony, and though we don't see him channeling that much here on this channel, which we should, he's always invited. We are very happy to have him. But let me go through the room of everyone that's here, and then I'll introduce you, Will.
And then announcements too.
Today in the room, we have Angie, Aglaya, Bridget, Christine, Hester, Luba, Maggie, Sean, Summer, Susan, Suzanne, Temple, and a few other people that will probably be popping in just a moment. We'll start with our announcements. Go ahead, Angie. Why don't you start with that?
Hi, everybody. Our next class is Galactic Energy Healing Level 1, and that class is next weekend, April 24th and 25th. Tukur is the one that teaches that class. It's level 1 about the energy healings, greater energies coming from the universe, solar system, and then it's mixing with our energies here on Earth, like with the Usui Reiki and all the other Reiki. So Galactic Energy Healing Level 1. The cost is $150. The time is Saturday and Sunday, 1:30 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if you're interested in signing up, classes at hucolo.org.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have, I am so sorry about this computer thing. Okay, so we have our very special guest. We have Will. Will is from Asheville, North Carolina. He's a priest in the Order of Melchizedek, as well as a master and teacher of Aquarian fire, Usui Reiki, Angelic Reiki, light language manifestation. He's a channel, he channels spiritual guidance and personal ascension. He does a lot also too. I know that you're Aquarian fire, but so much with light language he's done. And he's really kind of an authority on light language. He offers private sessions, in person, online, group sessions, classes, and retreats. And your website is Reiki with Will, I think, isn't it?
It's down right now, but it'll be up within the next couple of weeks, reikiwithwill.com. But you can check me out on YouTube, Reiki with Will. You can email me, reikiwithwill@gmail.com.
Perfect, great. So we'll start with just a few blessings, and then we'll come back and we'll do just a little quick talk with you. I know Will's got a lot, he said, that needs to come through, so we're going to try to go through all this quickly. So we'll just start with the blessings. Why don't we start with you, Temple, and then we'll go Angie, and then Will, you can do your blessing now or right before we start. But why don't we just go Temple, Angie, Will, no break in between. I'll leave it to you guys. Okay.
Nustuko takiako osko imatko iasko lolo nyania at odiamo osko objata task dia oda diasko hola ane aya oya it aneski ini idiato kopo daleasko oshania naniaska halatosko. Namaste.
O tuku o chichikani ya taku a chichi. Ni tituku a titikitiki o takani tikata o. Chichikotuku a tikani kataku chichika a. O tuku chi ana kotuku tikita ia takanonoko. Namaste.
Tukuhura hatar hisana arikawa hatiku. Kiriharnar araska hashisha. Titukor or hana haski iatari. Ti takara harananani pakoro. Utaka wahata te tirati. Shikata kananani porahata atakanani arota. Shahata harhiti. Konananaya. Kuchiti kurananani rokotatiarata.
Thank you. So, Will, why don't you just, for just like 2 or 3 minutes, just talk a little bit about, well, I gave you a little introduction, but why don't you just tell people, you know, how your journey started and how you really came into doing what you're doing? Because I've seen nice videos. You go to the mountains and you do blessings. You were up in Mount Shasta, I believe, one time for, he's big on the 1111s and the 1212s. Anytime those gates come around, there's a nice energetic gate. So why don't you tell people a little bit about what it is you do, and we'll.
So what it is I do? Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what it is I do. Besides blessings, I've been connected in various ways my whole life, and was attuned to Reiki in 2012. Took Reiki from the same Reiki master as Jim, but not in the same class. And I met Jim and Max at one healing event that our Reiki master put on. And I was volunteering Reiki during that session, and Jim and Max were there to listen to the speakers. When I was done volunteering, I'm sitting there walking down the hallway. I said, hey, there's one speaker I want to hear. I got time. And I'm walking down the hall. And I see a group of people, and there's this one guy in the group. And I'm going, I don't know what it is, but I need to hug that guy. And it was Jim. So that's how I met Jim. And then I met Jim and Max, and they were just bringing up Human Colony, Hucolo. And I went to Jim's first public channeling. And I was kind of on the fence about channeling at that point. But I'm sitting there, and when Lakesh came in, I'm going, oh my goodness, this is for real. This is legit, this channeling stuff. And Reiki's been my path for channeling and pretty much everything that I do. And besides teaching Reiki, I mean, my first Reiki experience was so profound that I'm going, I need to learn everything there is to know about this. And light language came. I learned about light language through Human Colony, and all the various speakers. And I'm going, wow, that's pretty cool. But I wasn't felt called to it. And Wendy, I love you. Thank you so much, Wendy from Languages of Light. She's been a big influence and a dear friend. And I started speaking light language on the summer solstice in Hot Springs in 2016. But what comes out, to me, what comes out is what needs to come out in this now. And that's the best part of why I love what I do. And I'll go where Spirit tells me to go and do whatever blessings that need to happen in this now, wherever it is. And I just like being of service. It's one of the things that brings out my joy.
Very nice. So you started, so today you weren't supposed to be channeling today, or no, you weren't planned to be channeling today. I'm not going to say you were supposed to be, but you weren't planned to be channeling, but you were getting a lot of information and you really felt like you needed to channel. So things took a how do you call it?
A synchronistic turn.
Thank you. Words are gone from me today. I have no words. But anyway, but through synchronicity, you are here, and you've got some beautiful messages to share from Rob. Ra, do you channel Ra as a collective or as an individual?
Ra, the collective, wants to speak.
Okay.
But what they did say, which was funny, I'm sitting here going, there is Ra, the individual, and but I was chuckling. My ego's involved because when I'm channeling Ra, when it first came out,
Yeah.
A week and a half ago. I was hiking, and I channel when I hike, and I do audio recordings.
Wow.
And then they're chuckling because I'm going, so Ra, you're a collective, and I know that there was a Ra and individual, and then they just start laughing and go, do you know how many Ra's as individuals that are part of this collective? And I'm going, okay, all right, I will stop judging and stop thinking with my ego at this point.
All right. Awesome.
Because it's just a name, just like how many Michaels are out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
True. So, okay. What is your process in order to get into channeling state?
So I speak light language and
Okay.
get into my joy. That's how I get into alignment. And it takes, 30 seconds. Ra's
Okay.
already here, so he's ready to speak.
Okay.
But that allows me to raise my vibration up to their level to,
Great.
so
All right. So, and will you be taking questions from people after?
yes. So there's a
Okay.
lot of basic information that
Sure.
they want to share. They will state, are there any questions?
Okay. Perfect. All right. I'm ready. We're ready.
Okay.
This collective, this human colony collective, is ready for your collective anytime.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So bear with me in my process.
Of course.
And I invite and allow the holy fire to flow into and around me in every way and everywhere and everyone. And I set aside my ego and my personal energy so that I may be a clear channel. Greetings. We are Ra, and we're here to talk today about the law of one, the law of attraction, and ascension, and how they all interact together. Let us give a little background. The first important thing, that you exist, and that you have always existed. And we're going to center all that we talk about today about your existence. And this process of ascension is a simple process and a complex process. Simply put, it is the one reflecting and experimenting and questioning who we are, what the one is, and what is the purpose of the one. And the law of one, simply put, is that the one is the all, and the all is the one. And we will talk about how this influences you as an individual in your 3D experience. We'll talk about who we are as Ra, the collective, how we came to be, and how it's relevant to you and your experience, and you in your quest for ascension, the thirst for ascension, the thirst for rediscovering who you are in every now, because that is simply what the all is doing. That is simply what the one is doing. Let us state that if you believe you are in this universe, you are a fractal of the all. You are a part of the all. And everything that you do offers a vibration to the all. And the all needs you. And all these fractals make up the one. And we're using the terms the all and the one on purpose to introduce these ideas of separation as well as talk about unity. Your idea of separation is simply just an idea. You're choosing to feel separate and be separate from the all, and choosing to be separate from the one. And you can unify. Since you are part of the all, you can connect to any or every aspect of the all simply by setting your intention. We will talk a little bit about alignment and the purpose of alignment. There are many aspects of what's going on. So let us talk about Ra, the collective, for a moment. Ra, the collective, came about when the one was reflecting on existence and reflecting on what is this? Who am I? The one in the expression and the quest for answering that question came up with ideas of how to express that. And the golden light, we of Ra, are from the golden light, and talk about the golden light. And the golden light is creative joy. It's creation through joy, experiencing small amounts of separation while connected to the all. We're dividing or separating into divine masculine and divine feminine, but then reunifying. Loving, joyful creation is the simplest way to express what the golden light or the golden ray is all about, and what Ra is all about. Stemming from the Lyran experience, the Lyran worlds were the first created in this universe. And Ra came about because of the expressions of the golden light in the Lyran worlds. And while trying to understand what we are, the one created the all. And as part of the all, this idea of loving, joyous creation. Ra came about in the higher dimensions. You in Earth, in your experience of the third density, there are many, many differences. But all that are in Ra, the collective, have ascended to Ra, the collective, through their experiences of joyous, loving creation. And anyone who has experienced any aspect of joyous, loving creation has contributed to the vibration of Ra. Most who have experienced or who have ascended to Ra came from the Lyran worlds. They have come from other worlds as well, and there are several in the human experience that have ascended through that joyous, loving creation to Ra. Now, with this law of one, because the experiences in the third density are very different from the experience in the sixth and the seventh densities, where most of the experience of Ra is happening. But there are vibrations and energies in Ra that are very relevant in the third density. To understand the law of one, you in your human third density experience have chosen to be separate in such a magnificent way because your intention came from the white light and the white ray, which includes the extremes of dichotomy, the extremes of contrast, where we of Ra or the original Lyran worlds did not choose to experience that much dichotomy. So your experiences are much different. And you will experience these extremes. But your original intention is very similar to our original intention, which was to reunify with the one. And that is the most important concept to consider. And this reunification process is ascension. It is a process. It is not a goal. It is not an end goal. Once you ascend, you're not done. There is a continuous process of understanding ourselves. Know thyself is the important concept. In each new now, in each moment, you are new. You are brand new. And you can choose to be separate or you can choose to be unified. You can. And you in your third density do have the ability to connect to every aspect of the all and every aspect of the one. It is simply a choice. And you can set your intention and get out of the way and allow that information to be present in this now. So as an experiment, if you were fully connected to the all of your collective consciousness, whatever that is, it could be the people that are in your room. It could be the people that are in your neighborhood, in your city, or you can connect to everyone that's on the earth. Empaths are experiencing a small fraction of it. Energy workers are experiencing a small fraction of it when their hands are on a session, on a person. There's this energy exchange and there's this flow of energy. But as an experiment, this thought experiment, if somebody were to be slapped and you felt it, could you allow yourself to feel the pain of the slap of the other person? That is the ripple effect. That is the effect of being connected to the all. And if you could feel that, because they are a part of the all, if you could feel that, would you do something to actually stop them from being slapped? Your words have power as well. When you are not aligned with the light, you cast a shadow. And this shadow has an impact on the collective. When you are aligned in the light is all around you. There is no shadow. Because you are aligned with the one, which is aligned with the all, which allows your full expression. When you choose to insult someone, maybe it just comes out. That is a part of this dichotomy, this wide range of experiences that are expansive. Try not to think of it as right or wrong. Try to think of it as, are you furthering the collective? Or are you furthering yourself? Are you making yourself feel better? When you insult someone, it may feel good to you in this now, but what is the shadow that was cast? What is the damage that was done to the other vibration? Were you doing some sort of vibrational slap to the other person? And then what is the ripple effect of that? How many others were affected by it? The law of one is really about the service to others because we are one. Are you doing the other a service Are you even doing yourself a service when you're insulting someone? How much of an imprint on your karma is happening because of it? If you could choose to be of service to others instead. Now this starts to tie into the law of attraction. The law of attraction is simple, but mastering it in the third density is the quest, is the part of ascension. The law of attraction is simple, is what you give out to the universe is what you get back. As instant as you standing in front of a mirror and holding up a flashlight, the light comes back instantaneously. So what you give out to the universe is given to you immediately. And how does this play with the law of one? The law of attraction has two sides. You can attract. You attract with your vibration. And this vibration, many times on Earth, in this third density, we are taught to send out what we as the individual want, which is okay. There's no right and there's no wrong. It is simply is. Are you in alignment? Are you in alignment with your heart? Are you in alignment with the light? Are you in alignment with the source? Are you in alignment with the one? When in alignment, all abundance flows through to you, your one, and it flows through to the all. But when not in alignment, the ego comes into play, and manifestation happens from the ego. In alignment with the ego, in alignment with the self. When not in alignment with the source, you are in alignment with the self. And the manifestation, and the focus of the manifestation is on the self. Focusing on the self is an important part of this dichotomy of expansion. But focusing on service to others, focusing on the all of whatever collective that you are focusing on. Imagine being in alignment. Imagine you sending out the vibration of whatever it is that you want to manifest for yourself. But if you expand that to include everyone else who wishes to manifest this, did you just feel that influx of energy at that point? Because you are engaging in the law of one at that point. You are engaging in the abundant flow because you are not thinking of yourself. You are thinking of the all. And everyone who is involved in that desire, that manifestation, that sending out to the universe, they are now joined in one. They're joined in one vibration. And therefore they manifest for the all, for their collective, which benefits everyone. So let us talk about ascension for a moment. There is personal ascension and collective ascension. And as a part of this third density, this difficult, very dense density, this master density, this idea, and it is simply an idea. This idea of difficulty, this idea of alignment. Alignment is the key. To what are you aligned? What is your vibration? What are you choosing? These are all concepts. These are all simply ideas for you to know yourself and to allow yourself. Knowing yourself helps you understand the shadows that you cast, or helps you understand the light that you broadcast. That is it. Focusing on your shadow or the shadow that you cast is only important if you have trouble realigning with this now and realigning with the one and the all in this now. Because there are ideas, if you see yourself in this universe, if you believe that you are in this universe, you are a fractal of this universe. And the truth is, you are this entire universe. You are every fractal in this universe. So back to the slap example, why would you slap yourself? It is you. Every person that you see, every vibration that's in this universe is you. And the law of one simply says, why would you slap yourself? But that is a part of this existence, this light and dark aspect, this contrast of the third density. Because we're choosing to slap ourselves so that we get to know who we are. If you could see that this other person that you're talking to, that you're not resonating with, if you could see that they really are you, could you allow them to have their own experience instead of correcting it, or instead of wanting to slap them? They may want to slap you. This idea of ascension, and especially in the third density, is to experience that frustration with another of you and to get over it. And then to eventually see that they are you, that they are a form of the all. They're a form of the one. It's simply you having a bad day. And this ascension, the ultimate goal of the intention of the white ray, is that you see that and you understand it. The ascended masters have all gotten to that point and have all seen the light in that wisdom. And then they see that everything that was created is actually a brilliant manifestation of the light. That before they saw it as light and dark, and now they see it as this glorious creation. And once they understand that, then the law of attraction makes the most sense. And creation with the law of attraction becomes loving and joyous, because they see that they get to create in their reality the same way that they created before with their imagination. When you create in your imagination, it never fails, does it? When you create in your dreams, it never fails. Once you engage in the law of attraction with alignment with the one, you will see that it never fails. This idea of time delay and the lowering of your vibration when it doesn't arrive in your preconceived time frame is simply an idea. It is already there. Are there any questions?
Not quite yet, because we didn't have one, but can you talk about, oh, actually, Susan has a question. Go ahead, Susan. Go ahead. Susan?
Yes, sorry, I had
Okay,
to,
go ahead.
I'm ready. Hello, Ra. I've recently started to channel you myself in the last few weeks. And so I'm wondering, are we wondering more about our relationship and how, I guess, my channeling with you will grow in the future if we're meant to work together in a more significant way, and what our relationship will be going forward, and what it's been previously, perhaps in other lifetimes.
You have offered many vibrations to Ra, the collective, and you will channel Ra successfully when you are aligned with loving, joyous creation. And I see your alignment growing with that, and the information coming forward will be magnificent, timely, necessary. And if you continue to experience the bliss with that, then we will be stronger and stronger and stronger with you. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely. Yes, I'm learning to trust and allow the connection to come through more purely with all the beings that I've been channeling. So that definitely makes sense, to continue to go within and meditate and connect with you and the other positive entities I've connected with, and continue to grow in that way. That does make sense.
Yes. And with the word you chose, purely, simply set your intention at the beginning and allow it to happen, and allow the information to come through whatever way it comes through. This purely is a judgment. And then there's a continuous nagging question in the third density. If you wonder if the information is pure, you are interfering with it. When you set your intention that it be pure, it will come through. And all those who resonate with it will resonate with it. It is what it is. That is the first law. That is that it exists. It is simply a vibration. It is simply information. Allow it to come through and trust that it is the truth in that now. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Wonderful. Beautiful.
Because you are a pure channel. Everyone is a pure channel.
And did we have any other lifetimes together? Because I know I have a Egyptian connection.
Well, you have a connection with the individual Ra that was known in Egypt. You were one of the humans. When Ra, the individual, was in Egypt, it was back in the golden era, and there were very few humans that interacted because they were in higher dimensions than the third dimensional humans that were around. but there were several that were enlightened enough that there were interactions with the fourth density and the fifth density. And you were one.
Okay, I know that I believe I was a Isis priestess at one point, and maybe had connections with Orion.
Yes, Isis also is one of the golden light, and her origins were from Orion. And Isis was here only for a short period of time. So there are priestesses of Isis, more humans that are priestesses of Isis that happened in a lineage that happened well past in your time frame, that happened well past when Isis was present on your earth. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, I'm currently studying that in a book I'm reading, the Sophia Code, about Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, some others that are part of that oracular priestess line from Hathor and Isis, a lineage. So
Okay.
I have read about that. So, but yes, it all makes sense. So thank you very much for the confirmation.
Thank you. Okay. Bridget has a question. Thanks, Susan.
Hello, I would like to ask you a personal question. What you said about, well, me, everybody being part of the all. I have a conflict with my neighbor. We were very good, well, quite good friends. And I did a lot to accommodate, to please him. And then last week I returned home and he had put a fence between our two properties, and he didn't ask me, and it is, well, usually you ask. It's a common agreement, it's fixed by law. And he started to say all sorts of really strange things, like there's coming when there's laughter in my garden, he feels insecure and he gets anxious, and he does not know what he has against me, but there is something, and that he is so fed up with strange people in the village, and that it is my guests that make him afraid. And wow. And then I got so angry at him, not that right that day because there came visitors. And I had to take back my garden. I had to take, it was him all over me. It's like that, it felt like an intruder. And that through shouting, I was taking back my space. But of course, it didn't feel good.
We understand. Is there a question?
Well, yes, because what you said is well, the way I understood it. Would I have liked to be the other person? That's what you said in your introduction. And of course, I wouldn't have liked to be the other person. So my question is, before I tried to please him, I cut back the hedges, even if it was not my part of the hedge. I did so many things to please him. So was that pleasing already a wrong thing, or was it shouting the wrong thing? Is it okay to say this is my limit, or should we be limitless? I find that such a difficult question.
That is a very good question and speaks volumes about this third density. And each aspect, each person, will speak more plainly. Each person in the third density is having their own experience. So we'll talk more about the law of attraction than the law of one. So each person is having their own experience. And you can choose to trim the hedges, regardless of whose side of the property line or whose side of the fence it happens. Are you attaching expectations when you trim the hedges? Is there an expected result, or are you simply trimming the hedges because the hedges need trimming? When an individual yells, it is a problem with themselves. They're not in alignment, and they understand they're not in alignment. And there's a conflict with what they see and what they're experiencing with what their heart knows as the truth. Hence, their vibration changes and their conflict arises, and their anger is actually internal. They're upset with themselves because they don't understand the truth that's in their heart center. So when you yelled, it's because you were having a problem. When they didn't understand your joy and laughter in your garden, they were experiencing a conflict. Their heart knows that the joy that's coming from your garden and that you expressing it from your garden, they know that that's the truth in their heart center. But because of whatever teachings or imprints that they have inside them, and they were not in alignment at that point in time, and they started to experience this conflict of not being in alignment, and they express it in various ways. You mentioned earlier about being accommodating to them. There is service to the all, and you had an idea that you were going to trim the hedges as a service to him. But when we do service to the all, if we're doing it in alignment, the abundance flows. If you're doing it to help them, there's a difference between giving somebody a hand and helping them up and going over and picking them up because you feel that they need to be picked up. The offering the hand and allowing them to get themselves up with the hand is the service to the all. When you go over and pick them up because you believe they should be upright, you do not help them at all. You cannot manifest for them. You cannot engage in the law of attraction. You are building a dependency at that point. You are building an energy exchange based on demand, requirement, and the ego loves to attach meaning to existence. It loves to attach meaning to things that already have a full meaning. You understand? If you can see the beautiful light being inside that other person, if you can see that they're having their experience and that they're creating the way they're choosing to create, even though you don't align with it, can you allow them to be who they are?
Yes, but then it is uncomfortable for me to feel their expectation on which they put on me to trim their side of the hedge. And that I didn't say, yes, okay, I do it. It's not my side of the hedge, but okay, you ask me that, okay, I do it. So if I don't do that and I see them, I know that they have asked me that and that I've said, no, I won't do that. So then I feel uncomfortable.
Yes. Do you see that this is all a creation of yours? You have attached meaning to trimming of the hedges. If you agree to trim the hedges, simply trim the hedges. The energy exchange is already there. But you are not in alignment with trimming the hedges, and you are not in alignment with saying no.
Yes, correct.
Can you see the beauty in that?
Not yet. No.
So that is you not wanting to trim the hedges and you not wanting to say no, and you having a conflict with both of them.
Yes.
Is simply you having a conversation with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with the other person.
Mm-hmm.
It is simply you being in alignment with yourself. It is your heart giving out an invitation to get back into alignment, because whatever belief system you have is keeping you out of alignment. So as an experiment, we invite you to close your eyes. And we invite you to take both sides of that. Let us take the no side for a moment. Simply see that the bushes and the shrubs that are on the other side of the lot line, just imagine them growing the way that those bushes and shrubs choose to grow on their own, in their own magnificence. And that you choose that there are other vibrations of joy that you wish to create instead of trimming those hedges. And that you see the perfection in the choice in this now, that you instead choose to nurture some flowers that are in your garden. You feel the joy because you're focused on the flowers.
Yes, no problem.
Good. Now, let us engage in the law of one. That other individual actually is you. Put yourself in his shoes for a moment. Imagine that he is experiencing non-alignment with his joy and his source. He has his own problems, and he's choosing to not trim his hedges. He's choosing to create something that you don't align with, whatever it is that's going on in his life. He's choosing to create misery, let's say, because that is what he's aligned with. That is what he's sending out to the universe. He is not focused on the shrubbery, the beauty in the shrubbery, and the contentment or the satisfaction or the joy of trimming the shrubs. He may be okay with the shrubs growing wild. He may be.
No, he was not. I must trim them for him. That's what he said.
Yes. And what is the energy exchange that he demanded because of it?
He thought it was very natural that I do that for him because it was my hedge.
Okay. Well, is it your hedge or is it not?
No, it is not. It's half. It's always half from both neighbors.
Okay. And so there's this idea of a rule set that it is not your job, and it is an idea of a rule set that he thinks that it is your job.
Yes.
Okay. But you're both adherent to the rule set.
Yes.
So you have a choice to either trim the hedges or not trim the hedges.
Yes.
And can you, if you choose to trim the hedges, can you trim the hedges without attaching any other meaning to it? Can you just trim the hedges because they need to be trimmed? And if you choose not to trim the hedges, maybe you can choose to not trim your side as well.
Mhm.
And that way, the hedge, which is still one collective, it is its own collective. Okay? And that way, it will be wild and free on both sides of your perceived line. But can you see, from his point, whether you choose to trim the hedges or not trim the hedges, he has his ideas, he has his blueprint, he has his karmic, he has his own defined and divine process of ascension.
Yes.
He is you. If you can see that he is you, if you can see that he is divine and that he's creating as an aspect of you, as an aspect of the all, and the term that you and your third density use a lot is God. If you can see that he is God and that he's choosing to create in his own way.
Yes.
Okay? I see you understand that. If you had God as a neighbor and God is choosing to not trim his hedges, you associate his with God. God is much more than a he or a she. Anyway, we wouldn't be having this conversation if God were your next door neighbor and God were not trimming his hedges, would we? You would simply accept it. If God asked you to trim both sides of that line, would you do so?
Yes, I would.
So if you choose to see your neighbor as God, you have no conflict. You are in alignment with that idea. You have no problem with service to God. There is
Okay, but
something in you, in this experience of separation, that you choose not to see your neighbor as God. Yes, that is the difficult part of the third density.
he doesn't want me to have any visitors, so my life gets really restricted.
That's his experience. You do not have to make that your experience.
No, I don't.
Okay? See, but if you saw that other individual as God, you do not have to follow every commandment,
No.
every vibration. But the true God will only offer a loving and supporting vibration, because
Yes.
that is what the law of attraction is.
Yes.
Your source within loves you so much that gives you whatever vibration you send out. That's it. No judgment, honoring free will. Okay? Every vibration, even the darkest vibration that you can think of, God supports and loves that individual. And always, always, always
One
lives
moment,
back
please.
according to the law of attraction. What was that?
There's a lot of interference and I'm trying to see. Bridget, can you please mute your mic while he's talking? Thank you.
Is that better? So what is it that would you like us to continue? Can you hear?
Sorry, we can hear you. There's just some, it seems to be coming from your mic. Maybe someone in your room is moving around, but it's quite loud. Okay,
Absolutely not. Well, let
okay.
me send some of the golden light. We'll see if we can alleviate. You let me know when it becomes better. Let us all focus on the communication that's necessary. And if we focus on that, we as a collective shall thoroughly engage in the law of one and the law of attraction, and it shall be. Does that make sense?
It's quite interesting. There's been nobody else's mic that's open other than yours at this moment. We're still, the noise is coming through. So it sounds like someone talking underneath you. Maybe it's the energy.
There are other vibrations here that are trying to come through, yes.
Okay, thank you.
But this information is more important.
Okay, well, please continue. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. It was just quite loud. So, okay.
Excellent. Excellent. So Bridget, did we answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Are there any other questions? That brings up an interesting point, is that in the third density, there are many of you that have this idea of God, and when we talk of the one, you do not associate the two together. And when you talk about your heart center, you do not associate God with your heart center. You do not associate the one with the heart center. These are all simply ideas. And the one or God or whatever idea it is that you're aligned with, there are many names for it. Which is why the law of attraction talks about aligning with joy. Because that is your core vibration. And the full expressions of love and joy, humans have attached so much additional meaning to the word love that the new idea of unconditional love has put upon it, and that you have created separation between love and unconditional love and judgment. They are all the same thing. True love is true respect. It is true respect of free will. It is true unconditional love with nothing else attached to it. It is simply love. It is simply giving what is necessary. It is the ultimate in service to all. And it is exactly what the law of attraction is about. The universe does not question what you desire to create. You send out a vibration, it simply gives it to you. That is it. There's no judgment. It is 100% complete trust in you as a divine creative being. There is no judgment. It is given to you. You are the only one that is keeping it away from you. It is keeping it in your vortex. It is when you become in alignment with it, this idea of time, this idea of separation, when you become aligned with it, a vibrational match, then it shall show up. But if you are always in alignment with the all, and in alignment with the one, this concept of God, you have given it way too much power. And you acquiesce, you give up much with this idea of God. But if you think of God as the all, and that you are just as divine. But when you see the others, if you see them as divine, and your concept of the true concept of namaste is the honoring of the idea and the possibility of seeing that divine being in the other person. And it's not just the divine being, it is the culmination and attraction of the all, of every aspect of divinity in this other person. And at the beginning, if you simply just say namaste because it's a possibility or a hope, that is enough. In some future now, you will actually see the divinity flowing from that individual who is simply you. If you can see them as simply somebody else that's in the mirror that is you, and that when you do something bad to them, you're doing it to you. If you do something good to them, if you can see them as you, imagine the manifestations that will happen because you will give them everything. You allow them to make the mistakes when you actually see them as you. How many times do you make yourself food? Yes, because you are hungry. You do what's necessary for yourself. Well, everyone else that's a self that's out there is you. So if you can do things for them, but also allow them, because there are times you do not want help. So there are times that others do not want help. They want to experience their separation and overcome what it is, their vibrational non-alignment. They want to overcome that vibrational non-alignment themselves. Well, you can't. You cannot overcome their disalignment. Energy workers, no matter what modality, one of the things that hopefully that they are taught, most of them are taught this, that just offer the vibration. And the vibration will take care of it. The vibration offers a reminder of their alignment. And they can choose, the individual that's receiving can choose to accept the reminder of their perfection, of their alignment, and receive the healing. The more they are in line with their core vibration, the more they will be healed. They are already perfect. You are already perfect. If you can see the other as a divine being, the more that you will understand and allow them to have their own experience. But you can also offer the hugs, the energetic hugs. But if you offer to do work, follow through on it. You can break contracts. You can break agreements. Just like you break soul contracts. You can say, it's not working out for me. I understand you're having your issue, but I'm going to allow you to have your issue. I'm going to go do my thing, which is okay. Conflicts that arise in you, your anger, your frustration, is about you. What is it telling you? It is simply asking you to return to your heart center in alignment. That is it. If you see it that way, take a moment and breathe. Get back to your heart center. In your heart center, you are connected to your God, your source, and you are connected to all. When you are in alignment, you are helping the all in more ways than you can ever perceive. Because when you're in your heart center, all you see is the light. So therefore, that is all that exists. That is the beauty of alignment. And if you could feel what your neighbor is feeling, wouldn't it be easier to decide whether to trim the hedges or not? If you could feel what your neighbor was feeling, wouldn't it be easier to allow them to have their issue? That is what empathy is all about, is feeling them and allowing them to have their feels. And feeling all the other vibrations that are around it, and offering all the other vibrations that are around it. You do not necessarily have to say words, because you are part of the all, and you are the all. That is the whole grand experiment. You have created this universe. You have created it in every aspect in it, and every thought in it, and every idea of separation in it. You have 100% total control over it. The easiest way is to get back to your heart center in alignment. That is the simplest idea, because you are the one, you are the all. And every expression that you are experiencing, even if you are choosing to not see your neighbor as just you in the mirror. There is no judgment in that. That is honoring you in your choice, in your quest for you to know yourself, because you have existed always outside of time, and you have created this concept of time so that you can better know yourself. That is it. I think we're now up in the high aspects of the abstract, not necessarily causing joy and alignment. Are there any more questions?
Yes, there is. There's a question. Well, there's several more questions. There's a question from Sean. Go ahead, Sean.
Hi, Ra. So my first question was, it's more of like a clarification kind of ordeal. So like with the law of one, when you're having an issue with your like reality, like something outside of yourself, should you always look towards yourself and correct whatever it is in yourself so that it will reflect out? So if you're having like trust issues with a person, then maybe it's you're not trusting yourself. Is that kind of how the law of one would work?
We invite you to think of it simply. Every idea of outside is merely a reflection of your inside. Not that when you are not trusting the other person, your feeling of mistrust is simply an idea of you not being in alignment.
That went.
If you return to your alignment in your heart center, the love and the unconditional love starts flowing through your experience. When you, let us choose the word ignore for a minute. If you ignore the other person and you focus on your alignment, and then you get back into your heart center and you start feeling your joyous creation, loving, joyous creation flow from you. Flow into you and flow from you. Only then engage in the idea of separation where this other person exists. Now, when you see this other person, can you see their divinity and their ability to be in alignment and not be in alignment? And can you allow them to get into alignment without you having to offer advice In your third density, unsolicited advice is one of the worst things that people experience. And this need to offer unsolicited advice is one of the worst experiences. Isn't it annoying? I'm in charge of my own experience, is what I hear. But that is what the other person is experiencing. Now, this idea of trust is simply a contract. And if this other person is not honoring the contract, okay. You can still choose to trim the hedges. That is a very good analogy. You can still, and it applies to everyone, you can still choose to trim the hedges and still fulfill your part of whatever agreement it is. And if they're not fulfilling theirs, you getting upset over it is about you. Okay? So this trust, you can honor them, and maybe it's not working for you. If you are not in alignment and someone else is causing you to not be in alignment, that's on you. They're not causing you. They're simply offering a vibration to not be in alignment. You can be in alignment and still choose to not participate in the relationship. You can be in alignment and choose to participate in. Am I answering your question? Are we answering your question?
I was just wanting, I was just kind of pointing out the fact that that's one of the things that I have noticed, that whenever I'm having an issue with someone or anything outside of myself, I always try to look towards myself first, and then to figure out whatever issue there is. And then when I kind of change my perception in myself, then it starts to reflect out more and into my outer reality. But
you are using a lot of words and attaching a lot more meaning to it. Meaning that you're stating that when you don't trust somebody, that you're looking inside yourself for trust. And when you do that, you are starting to cast the shadow because you're not in alignment. If you simply just go back to alignment with your heart center, you now know you cast no shadow. You have no trust issues. You have no trust issues with yourself. Then from your heart center, from your alignment, you're attaching all this meaning to what does it say about you? When you're in your heart center, you are creating this new now anew. When you spend too much time reflecting on your past and what does it mean to me, you're living in the past. Yes, we have trust issues in the third density. Yes. Yes. And what it says about us. Yes. But get back in alignment. That is the first step. Then, from a loving, joyous, creative, how did I get that way? How many other people have imprinted what they believed on me and I accepted it? But then just simply return to when I was getting back in alignment. And when I got back in alignment, what did I experience? Did I experience that joy? When you're in that loving vibration, there is no imprint on you. All those things that our parents taught us and that society has taught us, whether it be I was beat every day. It does not matter how you learned, it was an external experience. The loving experience in your heart center that flows outward, not flows inward. When it flows outward from the source within, that is the abundance of the universe flowing through you. Do you understand what we are trying to
yeah, I do. Another question I had was, when we're channeling Ra, are we channeling like the collective more than the being from Egypt?
It depends where your alignment is. Each individual has its own core vibration, and each individual, when channeling, can channel an individual, can channel a collective. This channel was not planning on channeling the collective of Ra. This individual was simply channeling for a book, and we came through because that channel allowed the vibration. So when you focus on a vibration, you can channel your cat, you can channel Nikola Tesla, you can channel Ra the individual, you can channel Ra the collective, you can channel Hum the collective, you can channel Ganesh the individual or the collective.
Would you get like different kind of information like coming through, or would you get like the similar kind of if you're channeling Ra from Egypt, then you would get one perspective, and then or would you get like the whole big wide perspective of channeling the collective of Ra? Does that make sense?
Yes. There's a lot of judgment that is attached to it. When you are a channel and you are an open channel, once you set your intentions, the information will flow. Allow it to flow and do not judge it. Trust your core vibration that whatever comes through you is what is necessary in that now. Attaching all this other meaning to it is closing your channel, which is okay, or it is focusing your channel. You can set your intention on who you want to. And we understand that this Hucolo offers channeling classes, which gives advice on how to focus and how to be open. Channeling is a unique experience where the individual has to be both open and focused, or open and closed, to allow the one stream of consciousness to come through. Do we make sense?
Yeah, you do. And then when we're channeling Ra, are we embodying that energy so we can like take it out to our day to day? Like if we were to like channel Ra, do we have like the attributes of like the masculine and the strength and like the energy of like the sun, and like when we channel a being, does our energies kind of blend together, and then we kind of embody that energy, and then so that we can kind of take it out into our day to day? Is that kind of what goes on when we're channeling?
The short answer is yes. And the long answer is you used a lot of words and attached a lot of additional meaning to it. One can align with any idea and aligning with Ra and embodying it. The idea of Ra, the collective, is based on the golden light, which is loving, joyous creation. The individual Ra from Egypt incarnated on purpose to express that and came to Earth to share that. There were other attributes as a part of that individual, and there were other attributes that came along with that and that were expressed from it. But Ra, the individual, also used the energy from the sun as a teaching tool to teach about the golden light. So embodying the teachings of Ra, the individual, and embodying the energies of Ra, the individual, yes, you are expressing, if you allow, all those attributes to come through. If you experience increased strength, you experience increased strength. It is a judgment and an idea of separation, of disalignment, when you expect to experience strength and you are not yet experiencing Ra's strength. You chose to incarnate on planet Earth in the third density. Ra chose to incarnate in the Orion realms and in the sixth density, and chose to come to Earth down in the fifth and fourth densities. So because of his incarnation choice and his agreement to the laws of physics in the various densities, his ability and belief were imprinted, and his strength was easier to express outwards. You in the third density have to be in alignment with those ideas, and the physical strength in the third density, in alignment, without resistance to those ideas, will express fully without resistance. This third density is filled with resistance in the ideas of, how can I not do it? We urge you to be in alignment with not only, I hope I can do it, or I know I can do it. The alignment is, it is so. It simply is. It is fully expressing itself through me. I'm aligned with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you. That's all the questions that I had. Much love.
Much love. Joyous, creative love.
Thank you so much. There's some additional questions. One is a question about white magic. Is that something that you're familiar with answering, or not? Ra, am I muted?
White magic.
Yes. There's a question about it. If you,
Yes.
There was a question from the chat from Curious Light Channeler. It says, how do you purify the soul with white magic? That's the question.
Yes. So we are here today to talk about the law of one, the law of attraction, and alignment.
Okay, so that's not a question for you. Okay, fine. That's no problem. All right, there's a question from Aglaya, and she says, actually, I think
we can answer it this way, because you can think of white magic in the context of the law of one and alignment. The ascension part, or the purification using white magic, is simply an alignment. It is simply a unifying with the law of one and allowing the impossible to be possible. That is all white magic is about. You being in alignment and you allowing the one to express beyond your belief systems, express beyond this third density. That is it.
Okay, thank you very much. There's two things that I would add. My guru says in India, he says about meditation, he says when you're in peace inside, you have peace outside. When you're in pieces inside, you're in pieces outside, and it's all reflection, and the place you work on it is inside. in the meditation. And my other teacher would just say, get rid of your stinking thinking. That's what she would say.
Absolutely, because the ego, the stinking thinking, is your ego attaching additional meaning to an object's isness. It exists fully, and if you are fully engaged in alignment and the law of one, its isness is rich and full. That thing that you want to attach more meaning to is God. If you can see it as God, that it is fully expressing itself in its own right. You do not need to attach anything else to it.
Right.
And this meditation is simply a form, a quest. At the beginning, it's a quest. And once one understands meditation, it is simply alignment and focusing within, because your true source is within, and all external stimuli are external. And if you are God, the one, if you are the one, then listening within, meditating, allows you to listen within, allows you to disconnect from all of the external influences.
Mhm.
And then once you achieve this ascension, this goal, but it's a process, okay? But in the third density, this samadhi, this unity, this idea that there's this goal. It is not a goal, it's an experience.
Mhm.
And when one focuses on alignment, then this idea of enlightenment, which is such a goal that is outside of your reach, simply because you choose to keep it separate, this enlightenment is just the light emanating from your heart and your understanding that everything is the light and that everything is this divinity, and that you can then choose to not have to go inside, because everything is brilliant and everything is enlightened and everything is there, and these external influences cannot influence your belief and your trust in your heart center and the light emanating from you. And you're only in gratitude and honor and awe of all the brilliance that's out there. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so very much. There's a question about maybe from your perspective of alignment and oneness, or the law of one. Aglaya has a question. She says, how would you, I'm going to rephrase her question to reflect what you're presenting. How would you assess the global situation right now regarding vaccines, the idea of perhaps forced vaccines? But no vaccines are being forced at the moment, so we don't want to propose. But how would you, just vaccines in general, I would say the choice to take them or the possibility that people might be told to take them. How would you reflect that?
So we can answer this question, and it's a good question, by thinking about the all and the collectives and about alignment. First step is always alignment. Align yourself with your heart center. Step one. Whether you do that with meditation, or you do it with gardening, or you do it with dancing, it does not matter how you align yourself with your heart center within. When you are aligned with your heart center, you have access to every idea, every fractal that has ever happened, because you have created this universe. You have access to every idea and every thought that has ever happened in this universe when you are aligned. And as a part, and when you are connected to the all, your collective consciousness, whether it's in your room or your planet, simply by you being at peace, simply by you being in your heart center, is contributing to the vibration of your planet. Every vibration that you're offering is contributing to your planet. Do you choose to be of service to the self, or do you choose to be of service to the all? And by being at peace, you are in service to the all. Whether you choose to get your vaccine or choose to not get the vaccine, whether it's mandated, whether it is voluntary, your heart center will let you know. Your heart center and your alignment will offer the collective the choice. And yes, there is personal ascension, and there is ascension of the collective consciousness you call humanity, and the collective consciousness that is Gaia on this earth. And the idea is that there are goals to go to the 5D, and there are ideas of cooperation starting from your heart center, starting in alignment. Your heart will talk because you came here in this third density at an incarnation point of your choosing for your purpose. And your purpose is based on your vibration and how you interact with this collective consciousness. Now, this choice for a vaccine or mandated can be influenced by the collective consciousness. By you being in your heart center and by you allowing the abundant flow to come from your heart. By engaging in the law of one with your intentions. Can you send out vibrations to the collective consciousness that everyone aligns the way they see fit? That everyone brings their understanding of the vaccine and their understanding of this virus and their understanding of this physicality of the human body. If they bring their knowledge from their heart center to the collective consciousness, the collective consciousness will go in the direction of the common vibration. Trust in the divinity of all others who have incarnated because they are you. Simply envision that everyone on this planet is you, and then connect with all the different reflections of you. You will align very quickly with all those other incarnations. The decisions that your heart center makes with that thought pattern is the ascension of the earth. Those ideas, it is as simple as that, and everything else that you attach to it simply complicates it and disengages from that neural network of you and you and you. It is as simple as that. Do you understand?
Understood, yes. And one of the things that came as you were talking was the idea of the sort of collective conscious making the choice, and so how very important conscious awareness of your vibration was, so that you can be part of sort of skewing in a more positive direction than in a more negative direction by ignoring your own vibration. So that was my takeaway from that. There is a question from Suzanne. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Hi, Ra. Thank you so much for choosing to come today. I really am enjoying the conversation. Your last response was incredibly awesome. And I'm going to think about that again. But I loved the answer. I loved the answer. I had an experience a couple weeks ago. Another person came on Hucolo, channeled Ra, and was talking about staring into the sun. for energy fulfillment, and I tried it. And I don't know what happened exactly, but when I did, it was brief. I was in the woods alone, far away from other people. But when I tried it, I immediately experienced visual things that I hadn't seen before. Maybe movements of energy, some positive, some negative, most interesting. And I almost felt like some of the energy that somehow I was helping it to leave, some of the darker energies. Is this possible? Was I just seeing sunspots?
Is it possible? Is it possible is a great question. Because is it possible is the start of the belief. Is it possible leads to it can happen. It is possible. And then it leads to I know it can happen. And then it leads to it is happening. Yes, your agreement with incarnating in this universe because you have created it. You have agreed to all the laws of physics because you created all the laws of physics. You have created this physicality. You have created everything. Gaining energy from the sun is in alignment with the laws of physics that you have created. Gaining energy from other forms of nature is also in alignment. Before you created the physical elements, you created the quantum particles. And before you created the quantum particles, you created the ideas. And you created the spiritual energy that allowed all that to be created. So underneath all of that, there is this matrix of energy that you have created, that you have created, that you have created, that is available to you always. It is the spirit behind everything. It has many, many, many names, and you can tap into that energy, whether you stare into the sun, whether you stare into a plant, whether you practice breatharianism of simply receiving the energy you need from the light and from the breath to foster the physics that you have created in your body, that you have created. Once you understand that you have created everything, you can experience anything and you can gain your energy from anything because you are the energy. And you tapping into this matrix of energy that is the underlying linchpin of all of this physicality. Simply thinking that you want to connect to it is enough to connect to it. And thinking that you're getting the energy necessary to do whatever. To have the visions of any now, or to bring forth the strength of Ra. It is all there in this matrix of energy that is underlying everything. It is always there, and it will always be there. Because it is you as well as this physicality, as well as the sun. Do you understand?
Yes, I think I feel that, and I was quite sure after having the experience that there's more to this, that I actually tapped into something I've already been involved with and was working with and on, and that I was for the first time able to actually visually see it.
Are there any other questions?
No, thank you very much.
We have just a few more minutes left. There is one more question from David. David, please keep the question to a universal question and not a personal question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Hello, Ra.
Greetings.
No, I just looking for a little guidance on anything that will you can share on alignment for me, and that will be helpful for me and others to move forward through challenges so that I'm fulfilling my purpose.
Excellent question. Do not overcomplicate it. Simply alignment, and any experience of non-alignment, frustration, is an expression of contrast. And it simply is your heart reminding you and inviting you to come back home. The easiest way to align is to breathe slowly, is to say, I choose to align. As an experiment, we invite you to close your eyes and state, I choose to align with my heart center, the true essence of my heart. And then simply breathe slowly. Any other thoughts besides breathing and the heart center are simply, can you allow them to watch you breathe? And simply focus on the breath, breathing in slowly. And occasionally saying the word aligned in the heart. And breathing out slowly at your natural pace. Breathing in slowly, aligned with the heart. And breathing outward, aligned with the heart. And continue this as long as you need so that you feel alignment with your heart. Some can do it in 1 second. Some cannot do it even after an hour. Some get frustrated because they feel they cannot do it. But when one needs to run away from something, one has the ability to run, and one has the ability to be focused on running away. All your other problems go away when you're focused on running away from the threat. That is the whole idea behind meditation. Focused intention. That is it. And that is the simple idea of alignment. You are hardwired in your third density, the fight or flight. It is a part of your DNA that is part of the agreement. But aligning with your heart center and getting back to alignment and not experiencing the contrast and not experiencing the fear, because they do not exist when you are aligned. Everything else, the items on the list that you need to obtain from the grocery store are still on the list, but they're not in your awareness when you're in your heart center. They can exist in a different now, but they do not exist when you are in your heart center, focused on your breath. But you are choosing to create this new now. Once you leave your alignment, or once you leave your meditation and your visualization, you are choosing again, the divine being that you are choosing to bring back that list with those items that need to be purchased from the grocery store. That's how divine you are. You are choosing to bring it in. And one day you will laugh while in meditation that you will notice that you noticed that list no longer existed for a time. And the need to go to the store did not exist while you were breathing. And we chuckle with you at that time, because we have chuckled many times with that experience. And we will again choose to joyously chuckle at that experience. And then we simply go back into alignment and the breath with you. Does that make sense?
Yes. That is wonderful.
Thank you. David, I need to cut you off because we're really at the top of the hour.
Yes, okay, thank you.
I'm so sorry, but thank you so much. Come back earlier next time. Come in early. Yeah.
Can we finish it up with one idea, bringing it back to the beginning?
Perfect. And if you want to lead us in the last prayer and meditation, we can do that as well.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So back at the beginning, we talked about the one, but we talked from an idea of separation. And when the one was trying to understand itself in this process of ascension, ascension is not a goal, it's a process. It's a continual process. In ascension, in the law of one and existence, and the law of attraction are all the same thing. So back at the beginning, when we talked of the one who was trying to understand itself, now we can talk, you are the one that was and is trying to understand itself. Allow yourself to not understand and allow yourself to understand. Because this God that you had this idea of that was trying to understand itself at the beginning is you. All these ideas, and we in Ra are in honor of that. We're in honor of the God that was in your idea at the beginning when God was trying to understand itself. And we are in awe and of service to you, the individual that is trying to understand itself and that is creating all these ideas and reunifying in your heart center, in your existence, in the beauty and creative, loving joy that is you. You are the golden light. You are the golden ray. You are the gold essence. You are. Be joyous in your existence. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you so very much. So because we are over time, if you want to do a quick light blessing for us, then we will go out on your blessing.
Excellent. Chikuhor ahana hikaya. Chukoota takaskana niria korharhar siheti. Ch'a naharita. Chukoortana giji arahana katita kadi. Chukohutuna naharharski hisaheti. Chika anariaratkaska. Tuku uhuku oshaha. Niska araharatiya. Kuchu uhosanahay. Shahia tanahayataka. Saya ananariaratakuhu. Shukuhua nanara kata. Thank you for joining me in my highest bliss.
All right, and then just one quick announcement. Next weekend is the Galactic Energy Healing Level 1. If you're interested, it is classes at hucolo.org. It's Saturday and Sunday, 1:30 to 4:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Classes at hucolo.org if you're interested, and hope to see you there.
Thank you. You could let me introduce you.
You know, you were going to close.
I just want to say next week we have something we haven't had before. We're going to have a psychic medium on. So her name's Melanie Scott. She's from the UK, and we will be connecting to our dearly departed people. So if you have a grandmother, an auntie, a mother, father, sister, brother, friend that you would like to connect to, please come prepared. If you can, bring a picture, if you can, of that person. She can read pictures as well. If you want to have a something of them, a ring or something to hold close to you while she's connecting, that would be great. She's from the spiritualist tradition in the UK, so they have a very specific way of doing mediumship. That's also the way I was trained. So that should be really fun. And then in 2 weeks, Jim will be back. So please like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. And I'll be posting the link for the Zoom room next week, also in YouTube. So anyone that's in YouTube who wants to talk to their dearly departed, as they say, you're welcome. So much love to everyone. Have a fantastic week. Thank you for everyone. Thank you so much, Will. It was such a pleasure. You have to come back and channel more. This is the first time in years I've seen you actually online channeling. So definitely I'm booking you like in several weeks. I will let you know.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
There is very, very, very relevant information that needs to come through me.
Yeah.
That is, books are being written about it, and Ascension. Yeah. So definitely. So check out my YouTube channel, Reiki with Will, on YouTube. And if you want to contact me, book a session, reikiwithwill@gmail.com.
I put all the information in the YouTube chat that you sent me with your website and with your contact. His website is being updated, so email is the best way to contact him for now. And then in a few weeks, you can check out his website. Yeah. Okay. Much love, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for your fantastic questions and participation. Everyone wave goodbye. Okay. See you next time. Bye, Angie's hand.